Good afternoon, and thank you for attending today's candidate forum featuring the candidates for the mayor of Crystal Lake, Illinois. My name is Kate Williams. I'm president of the League of Women Voters of McHenry County. The League's purpose is to promote responsibility through the informed and active participation of all citizens. Providing this forum enables members of the community to be more informed about educations and be educated and understand the candidates running for office. We're pleased to offer this. Due to the COVID situation, we're not able to present our traditional forums at McHenry County College, and found Zoom has been a good option for us. It allows an option for candidates to participate without leaving home and for the community to view this at their convenience. These forums have met both the State League and our U.S. League guidelines. During today's presentation, only the moderator, timer, and the candidates will appear on screen. We won't be using the raised hand or chat features. All the questions have been submitted by various community groups and community members. We've exchanged cell phones in the event that a candidate loses connectivity. Should they be off screen and miss the opportunity to answer one of the questions due to their technical problems, when they return, they'll be given that question to answer. I'm pleased and delighted to introduce today's moderator, Anna Gifford. Anna is a member of our League of Women Voters and a trained moderator. We're fortunate to have her with us. Anna will explain the rules and the timing, and then she'll give the questions. So Anna, I'll turn it over to you now. Thank you.
Thanks, Kate. I'd like to take a minute to explain the format and the rules. Each candidate was contacted by postal mail, email, and phone and has agreed to abide by the ground rules provided by the League of Women Voters, and they are as follows. Candidates have drawn numbers to determine speaking order, and the moderator will rotate the order of these questions during the forum. Each candidate will have 2 minutes for an opening statement. Each candidate will have 1 minute to answer questions, and the moderator may repeat a question if necessary. It should be noted that each question will be directed to all candidates. At the end of our meeting, each candidate will have 1 minute for closing statements. Our timer today is Rich Woosnam. Rich will be holding up paddles with timing increments for each question asked. The candidates will be given a 30-second warning, so please quickly finish your thoughts before you see the stop sign. I will allow you to finish a sentence. However, if that sentence turns into a paragraph, you will be stopped or muted. The time limits will be enforced out of respect for all of the candidates. Today's forum will be recorded by the League of Women Voters to use in educating the public. A link to this forum will be available early next week and on our website and Facebook accounts for the League of Women Voters in McHenry County. The candidates have agreed to this. No voice, image, or other duplication of this forum may be used by a candidate's representative or campaign in any campaign advertising. The League of Women Voters claims copyright ownership of all recordings, transcripts produced from this event, and reserves the right to publicize the forum. Today, we will hear from candidates hoping to represent the city of Crystal Lake as mayor. We have 3 candidates vying for 1 position. With us today and on the ballot, Haig Haleblian, have I pronounced that right, Haig?
Close enough.
Donald Kountz, Jim Sisto. I want to thank you all for your participation. And let's begin with our opening statements. You will have 2 minutes. And if we could please start with Donald.
Hello, my name is Donald Kountz. My wife Linnea and I have lived in Crystal Lake since 1986. We have 2 sons, Eric and Brian. Both attended Glacier Ridge, Lundell, and Crystal Lake South. We are members of Bethany Lutheran Church. I've been an officer of my homeowners association since 2002. Been a volunteer judge for first competitions. I'm the son of a steel worker and a nurse. I retired after 35 years from Northrop Grumman as the Senior Director of Advanced Projects, responsible for yearly sales in excess of $100 million. I graduated from Purdue University with a bachelor's in electrical engineering. As an engineer, I establish objective requirements. I review and ask questions about the data and the performance to make my decisions. I'm fiscally conservative because the city's money belongs to its residents. I look forward to earning your vote for mayor.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Jim, if you would like to unmute. Thank you.
Welcome to Haig and to Donald, and I appreciate the time here that you've afforded us to present to the League of Women Voters. Jim Sisto, been living here in Crystal Lake for over 26 years now. I lived in the South Side in 2 different homes, and we've raised, my wife and I, Kelly and I have raised our 4 children here through the similar schools that Donald's children have gone to. We've gone through Woods Creek and Glacier Ridge and Lundall and Crystal Lake South, and had great experiences with that. I've been in a business for 34 years now and have been in management and marketing for that amount of time. My undergraduate was from DePaul University back in 1987, and 15 years later, my company said, "You're not taking advantage fully of your human resource benefits," and they helped me go back to school to acquire my MBA at Keller Graduate School. I've been teaching at Columbia College in Crystal Lake for over 15 years, business classes, business ethics, business management, leadership and motivation classes. I plan on retiring here, not anytime in the near future, with 4 children. We also have 3 wonderful pets, and I hope to be lucky enough to be afforded the opportunity to be your mayor of Crystal Lake. Thank you.
Haig?
First, I want to thank the League of Women Voters for hosting this forum today, and I thank the 2 gentlemen who've joined me in this forum. It's important for the voters of Crystal Lake to get acquainted and learn the positions of the candidates for mayor. I've been a resident of Crystal Lake since 1983. We have a blended family. I have 2 daughters that went through, they went through the Cary school system, and 2 stepchildren that went through the Crystal Lake school system. We also have 5 grandchildren. Actually, I'm a step grandfather. They call me Stampa to kind of delineate between their real grandfather, well, not their paternal grandparents, maternal grandparents, and myself. At any rate, in 1987, I opened a retail business in Crystal Lake that's flourished, and we're highly successful and one of the largest of its kind in Northern Illinois. We employ an outstanding staff of 14 and over 60 craftsmen. I purchased our current location in 1993, and then we renovated the building in 2000. I say all this to demonstrate my investment and my faith and passion for Crystal Lake. I've served on the Crystal Lake Economic Development Committee for 12 years, and I chaired that committee for 2 years. In those 12 years, we were able to facilitate countless new businesses, development programs, and the iShop Crystal Lake program. 4 years ago, I was appointed by Mayor Shepley, unanimously approved by the City Council as City Councilman. 1 year later, I successfully ran and won re-election. Last June, under the status of times, even as Crystal Lake Council's newest member, I was unanimously appointed as acting mayor.
All right. Thank you very much. I will begin with this first question, and Jim, you will be the first person to be asked. What part does the mayor play in connecting with the residents of Crystal Lake?
Crystal Lake will always be welcoming to all people. I think that as mayor, we will always have the ability to reach out to them and work with them, not just through our community meetings, but also through our reaching out for being able to meet with them outside of the community meetings. I'll make myself available. I've been making myself available, talking to key people outside of the community, and will continue to do so. Thank you.
Thank you. Donald.
The mayor plays a huge role in connecting with the residents. I don't believe the 5 minutes allocated to bring issues forward at the beginning of the city council meetings allow for an in-depth listening or discussion. Therefore, as mayor, I would create listening sessions to learn about the concerns from various groups or topics. Seniors, teens, religious, recreation, city services. Nothing is off the table. We have to take the time to listen in order to make Crystal Lake an even better place to call home.
Thank you. The second question, I'd like to start with Haig. How do you plan to work with our surrounding communities to explore shared services?
Well,
I'm sorry, I didn't see Haig getting a chance to answer the first question.
Oh, my apologies. I'm sorry. What part does the mayor play in connecting with the residents of Crystal Lake?
well, I think the mayor plays a huge role, and I can certainly cite many examples of how I've been able to do so because I'm in the community. I'm working with the residents on a daily basis, whether it's in my location or out on the road. I've been very fortunate in 34 years of business here in town to know an awful lot of people. I think Crystal Lake offers an equal opportunity and resources for all populations. By working to ensure that Crystal Lake has a mix of housing products, rich educational resources, and a diverse recreational opportunities, we continue to provide an attractive and welcoming community to a diverse community.
Thank you. So Haig, you have the second question. How do you
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
How do you plan to keep them, I'm sorry, how do you plan to work with our surrounding communities to explore shared services?
Well, the city has multiple easy word to say, intergovernmental relationships and agreements to provide for fiscally responsible shared services to meet our residents' needs. The city continuously looks for opportunities to partner with other entities where it makes financial sense for the city to do so. Crystal Lake is the founding member of CCOM, which is housed in the Crystal Lake City Hall, and it offers cost-effective shared emergency dispatch services for a number of communities. The city also participates in county shared services such as fleet, GIS, plowing, and so on. And we're constantly looking at neighboring municipalities on shared bidding opportunities when the bids are favorable to us to do so.
Thank you. Donald, would you like me to repeat the question?
No, I have it. Thank you. I'd first ask the city manager and the department heads what they need to establish the opportunities. Crystal Lake is a member of many organizations, including the McHenry County Council of Governments. I'd use this group to see what other communities are doing better than Crystal Lake and see if we can establish an agreement to join with them. At the same time, I would discuss offering assistance to them in the things where we're doing better. At the time we enter into these agreements, though, we need to establish the performance metrics to know when to stay and when to leave, because the bills are paid by the residents of Crystal Lake. A simple example, could Crystal Lake residents get a better price on garbage collection if we teamed with a neighbor? I don't know, but it's worth looking into.
Thank you. Jim, would you like me to repeat the question?
No, that's okay. I think I have it. I would reach out to those other communities, to those administrators, managers, mayors, let them know we're ready and willing to work together, see where we can share our costs. I would first see where we're already doing that, and if not, why we're not doing that. I would reach out to other communities if they have any ideas on sharing costs and services, other mutual aid type agreements. We can work through intergovernmental agreements, mutual aid agreements to support each other and also cut down on our costs. This city should not operate as an island. I want a new era for Crystal Lake where we work with our neighboring communities on regional issues, and we can benefit from all working together. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question will begin with Donald. While the city has a city administrator, how often do you plan to meet with various public service departments to evaluate effectiveness of services and resident satisfaction?
Let me break this one into two parts. First, I expect all the departments have a set of critical performance metrics they're reporting to the city manager. I would expect these being reviewed monthly, and I would review them at the same time. No additional work, just another set of eyes. Significant metrics out of tolerance or problematic to our residents will get a more frequent review. Second, I believe at least quarterly, the department head should meet with the mayor to discuss the performance needs of their department. Here's a strength I have over my opponents. I'm retired. I have no time conflicts. I can attend regular meetings during normal city business hours, making for efficient, full, and honest discussions. Thank you.
Thank you. Jim?
Yeah, initially, I would meet with them a lot. I would want to get to know their ideas and listen. I'm going to listen, I'm going to learn, find out from what they're doing, why they do the things the way they do, if they need anything to help them to get the job done, what challenges do they have, whether there's a program they've always wanted to start but have not had the resources or support to start that. So initially it would be information gathering, listening, and then again, I would talk to my counterparts at other communities to see what type of programs they have that really work, ask for their top 5 and see if Crystal Lake is already doing the same thing. And if not, why not? I'll be very hands-on with the staff, but at the same time, I'm not going to micromanage. I'm not that type of manager. I will not pretend to be the expert. I won't try and fix what isn't broken, not tear down or rebuild if it isn't necessary. Again, listen, learn, then decide what needs improving. I would, however, personally talk to all department heads, not just the city manager, even though I would talk to him quite a bit. I want to learn from the department heads themselves. I want to talk to feel comfortable, talk to me directly. Thanks.
Thank you. Haig?
Well, since 1957, when the voters of Crystal Lake decided on a current council manager form of government, the city's been professionally managed by a highly trained executive team of a city manager and department heads that oversee the crucial city services. I'm also not a micromanager, and I feel that if you have excellent management in place, let them do what they do best. I will tell you that we get council and the mayor get weekly updates on budgetary documents and other operational reports to stay informed at any time, and we can get our questions answered very easily. However, the overall day-to-day operation is handled by this team, and it works very, very well. This is a very well-run community. It's fiscally responsible.
Thank you. My fourth question will begin with Jim. You'll need to take yourself off mute. It says, some residents have stated that we are landlocked and have very little, if any, land to annex for either residential or commercial development. Is that correct?
In terms of annexation, my concern is not expanding for the sake of expanding, but strategic growth. Annexing in an area without a significant new tax base can put a bigger financial strain on the city to maintain the roads and other infrastructure. There are several pockets of unincorporated areas available to consider annexation, to the east and the west in particular. But more importantly, we need to look at the economic impact of both the city and of the unincorporated area to make sure that annexation makes sense. I'm open to having those discussions, considering incentives to intelligently expand our revenue base. Thank you.
Thank you. Haig?
Well, to answer the question, Crystal Lake has a potential to annex vast tracts of land northwest up to and around McHenry County College. So the key word here is potential. The area is approximately 12 square miles and about almost 7,700 acres. So no, Crystal Lake is not landlocked, but we also have opportunities to develop infill lots, whether it's along North Main Street, the old Walmart property. So there's plenty of room for expansion if and when it's necessary.
Thank you. Donald.
Well, I did a quick look at the map, and Crystal Lake's landlocked on the south and on the east a little bit. There are unincorporated land to the west, however, those parcels could easily join into Lakewood. Along the north, as Haig has said, and along Route 176, there's been a number of parcels annexed into the city, and I know the city staff regularly approach owners in the unincorporated parcels about annexing into the city. While undeveloped land is usually the only option for single-family homes, it's not the only option for commercial development. Existing parcels can be modified or go through a full redevelopment. Mariano successfully redeveloped the former Sears property. There are a number of parcels that we all know about, from small to large along Route 14 corridor, just waiting for the right business or entrepreneur to discover the benefits of being in Crystal Lake. As mayor, I work with the staff to best advocate these benefits to get quality companies to call Crystal Lake home.
Thank you. Question 5, Haig, I will begin with you. What plans do you have to ensure the municipality is welcoming to a diverse population?
Well, Crystal Lake offers equal opportunity and resources for all populations. And by working to ensure that Crystal Lake has a mix of housing products, rich educational resources, diverse and recreational opportunities, and continued opportunities for all people, we continue to provide an attractive and welcoming community to a diverse population.
Thank you. Donald?
Now, for the last 20 years, Crystal Lake's population has stayed level around 40,000. Of the 40,000, only 8% are diverse. I ask myself, why isn't there more diverse individuals in Crystal Lake? Crystal Lake's about a family. Therefore, I'd first reach out to the school districts 47 and 155 to see what the diverse families need for their children. Then I would approach local and neighboring businesses to understand what those diverse employees are wanting for themselves. Third, I would review the city of Crystal Lake's hiring data to understand if internally we are ensuring we are accepting a diverse population. I'd reevaluate our advertising of Crystal Lake. With the potential of more businesses becoming work from home, we can benefit from the short commute. With this information, we can make adjustments to ensure we strive to remain welcoming.
Thank you. Jim?
Yeah, I believe Crystal Lake has always been and will be welcoming to all people. I think it's important that at the city level, we consider our various committees, commissions to ensure that our appointees are not only qualified, but they are representative of a diverse community in terms of gender and race. I believe our city, our council, our workers should represent a very diverse community and make it welcoming to all. Thank you.
Thank you. Question 6, I will begin with Donald. How do you plan to keep the momentum going or to gain momentum behind new affordable housing in the city?
To be honest, this is a really hard question, and I don't know the legal requirements for affordable housing. Therefore, I'd have to review both the needs identified locally and from the Illinois Affordable Housing Advisory Commission. Then I'd review how the most recent homes and apartments were funded and developed. Once I have these critical data points, I can work with the city staff and the council to find the solutions we need to meet the needs of those residents. Thank you.
Thank you. Jim?
If we're being honest, we cannot say the city has made a commitment to affordable housing to date. Having a handful of Habitat for Humanity houses is a good start, but not a substantial enough impact. The specific issue that we have several beautiful residential areas throughout our city and pockets of rundown older apartments which are not affordable. We need to make sure that all residents feel safe in their houses and is our first priority that people who rent in our community have an opportunity to do so, and that our code regulations are enforced to make sure all houses, apartments, and condos are aesthetically acceptable and generally safe and affordable. Thank you.
Thank you. Question number 7.
I
I'm
didn't
sorry.
get a
I'm
chance.
sorry, Haig, my apologies.
So the state of Illinois, through the adoption of the Affordable Housing Act of 2003, sets a threshold based on population to ensure that sufficient affordable housing is available in all Illinois municipalities. Since the act was passed, Crystal Lake has exceeded that threshold and meets the state's requirements. In addition, our UDO contains a provision that grants density bonuses to a developer and to provide affordable housing in their projects as means to encourage these units. Donald, so you know, at least 10% of our housing stock must be affordable. Affordable is defined as a percentage of total housing units that are affordable to households making 80% of the area median income. For example, Lakewood does not meet this because they have 4,100 people with 1,300 houses and 42 affordable units, or 3.2, or under the 10% threshold.
Thank you.
Thank you. Question 7, we'll start with Jim. What financial challenges do you see for Crystal Lake, and how do you plan to address them?
Sure, as with every community, we'll be facing a reduction in tax revenues that our business community is struggling because of COVID-19 pandemic. Cities are constantly facing increasing operational expenses that we need to confront without passing these expenses onto our residents and businesses, but still maintaining a high level of service to our community. As far as addressing these challenges, the city has to get more aggressive in a few areas that they have been a little slow to respond on previously. The city council said they did not want a dispensary in our city. In the meantime, dispensaries were licensed in multiple nearby communities and are going to make those communities hundreds of thousands of dollars per year on cannabis sales tax revenues long before Crystal Lake had the opportunity. City recently changed its mind and now wants to be able to have a cannabis dispensary after the first 2 waves of licenses have been issued. The indecisiveness has cost Crystal Lake some money, and it was based on moral background, I would understand, but now that we see the revenues that the other cities are bringing in, we're changing our minds. So thank you.
Thank you. Haig?
Well, one of the single greatest challenges facing any Illinois municipality is the state of Illinois' threat to withhold our state income tax and sales tax as a means for the state to resolve their own financial woes. The city, along with the Illinois Municipal League, are strong advocates to advance this key issue and ensure the source of revenue is not diminished in Crystal Lake. Along that line, with the anticipation of COVID, the city adjusted their budget down by $5 million, and I'm really pleased to announce that our revenues actually exceeded those budget figures. As far as cannabis goes, that's a whole different story. You know, there are just a few licenses that were issued. Whether we were participating or not at that point really didn't make a lot of difference.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Donald?
Well, Crystal Lake's current budget's about $150 million. I've successfully run $100 million plus FH for over a decade. This isn't new to me. The finance director, Jody Hartman, could better answer this question, but I'll give it a try. Just using the revenue tables and the expenditure tables, revenues are down in part by the pandemic, but also management decisions. Expenditures are up, but they were planned. While the reserve numbers are solidly within the policy requirement, I'm concerned that the general fund balance reserves, which have been primarily used to mitigate tax increases, may have to fill other revenues that don't rebound. For example, if companies continue to work from home when the pandemic is over, our transit station parking revenue may never recover. If revenues don't recover, the first action has to be to identify what you have to do versus what you would like to do across all expenditures. As mayor, I would encourage smart development to increase revenues.
Thank you. Question 8, I will begin with Haig. How can a resident be more involved and gain knowledge of the workings of the city?
Well, I can go a couple of different ways here, but the city has a newsletter and it's a great resource that's provided on a monthly basis to all residents. And we always are encouraging volunteers to serve on boards of the city or attend city council meetings to learn what is happening in the city. Beyond these basics, the city has a website, is a 24-hour virtual city hall with lots of great information, interactive maps and information tools. The city has developed a robust social media presence through Facebook and Twitter, and to provide timely information to our followers. I really would like to encourage young people to become active in the community. They are our future. And I actually I'm planning a group after I'm elected to host these people, young people, to engage in city government.
Thank you. Donald?
Well, the city has to meet its residents halfway and change some of its behaviors. When the pandemic broke out, the city held Zoom meetings. As soon as safety measures were put in place in the council chambers, Zoom was canceled, shutting out individuals who didn't feel safe attending. When I asked why, I was told the council, this is what they would like to do. The agenda packet comes out at the last minute, not allowing for an in-depth review. This is one of the reasons I'm running. No one on either city staff or city council caught NIMEC raising its fees citizens pay for their electricity through aggregation from $53,000 to over $141,000 for no additional effort. I caught it when I brought it to the mayor of the city to decide take no action since it's the residents paying the bill. Major portions of the agenda packet are not machine searchable. When you watch remotely and listen to the questions the members ask, you realize the public packet is different than the members packet. If the city keeps closing the door on its residents, then they stop being involved.
Thank you. Jim?
This is a really good question, and I think people don't know how to become involved. They can't, of course, come to the city council meetings, as I've done 16 of the last 18 meetings in person, and the other 2 I was able to attend on Zoom. I've learned so much, and I encourage all residents to get involved in local government. I think the monthly meetings with the mayor or coffee would be a good idea as a start to listen to the residents, hear what's going on in the city other than just from a newsletter or website. I'd like to start something like that. I want to make the city more open and user-friendly, then we all get to know each other and work collaboratively. Good ideas come from just talking to each other and brainstorming. Leads to volunteering, things becoming active on a board or committee. Thank you.
Thank you. Question 9, Donald, begins with you. Do you think the Main Street and downtown is healthy and successful? And if not, what would you do to change it?
Well, I use a number of the businesses on Main Street, but they may not think they're healthy and successful, and they're the ones who decide if they stay or if they move. To increase business, we need to find a way to get more foot traffic. Should we be doing like communities in Arlington Heights and Palatine that have built larger apartment buildings near the train stations to support those foot traffic? I'd reach out to those businesses and see what they need for us to keep them there, keep them flourishing, and keep them growing. Thank you.
Thank you. Jim?
Yes, I believe that we look at other cities around us, whether it be Palatine or Arlington Heights, and they have the trains that go right through the cities, and they've done a wonderful job. Our downtown is great, but it could be so much better. I believe I've spoken to many of the business owners just in the last 3 weeks down there, and they were happy to see that someone was interested in listening to them. We've done some good things in the past, but I believe that we need to be a destination spot for many people with the train and everything around us. It would make more people come in, mean more revenue for our businesses. Thank you.
Haig?
Well, as a fellow business owner, I know quite a few of the store owners in downtown Crystal Lake. I think it speaks for itself that there are very few vacancies, and there are people looking to move into downtown to start their businesses or develop their businesses in the downtown district. You know, that said, are there ways to improve? Absolutely. You know, as far as outdoor dining, you know, I'm working on that as we speak, and we've made great strides in that arena. As far as apartments, I absolutely agree, but it has to be smart and it has to be done well. And I'm going to be a real stickler about that on the Heinz property. I think all council, we've got people interested in it, but it's got to be done right and it's got to be done well.
Thank you. Question 10. Jim, this would begin with you. How would you seek to resolve disagreements?
Disagreements within the city, Anna,
Yes.
do you know, or? Okay,
I'm going
Well,
to go with the city.
thank you. I would be open to listening to everyone, to getting everyone together, because again, as my grandma said, that's why we have 2 ears and 1 mouth. And it's an old saying that she always used to live by. I think that if there were agreements, and there have been in the past in our city, there will be in the future. I believe that bring the parties together, communicate, listen, and don't always just tell people what to do, but listen to what they want to say and react with that. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Haig?
You know, I don't sense a lot of disagreements going on within the city. I don't see those department heads and the people that work under those department heads. They're very collaborative, and again, that starts with the city manager and has worked its way down. It's a very unified group. That really, there are no egos or hidden agendas. I mean, these folks all work for the benefit of the citizens. I mean, if there are issues, they come up, we discuss it, and we move on. But you know, overall, I'm very pleased with city staff and department heads, as well as the city manager.
Thank you. Donald?
Well, as Jim said, disagreements are because we stopped listening, right? So the first thing you have to do is you have to actually set up a place where you can talk and you can be honest and you can listen to what the problem is. Once you all agree upon the problem, then you're 90% done. Now you're talking about fixing the solution to solve the problem. So you have to sit down, you have to listen, you have to give people the time, and you have to give people the safety to feel free to be able to say what the real issue is, be it city staff, be it citizens who have issues. You listen and then you go find a way. Thank you.
Thank you. Question 11. And Haig, this question starts with you. How do you feel about the transportation options in Crystal Lake? Do you have enough? What would you change?
It's tough. Transportation, if we're talking public transportation in Crystal Lake, we have a PACE system, the PACE system here. It really, and we've discussed it at council meetings, it really is not terribly effective. We are not Arlington Heights. We are not Mount Prospect. And people in our community like to drive. If there's any thing that the municipality could improve, for me, it would be bike trails, promote biking throughout the city. I mean, PACE is really a separate government entity, and we don't have control over what they do. So I would think that if we could do anything at all in a hurry, it would be to increase our bike trails to the train stations.
Thank you. Donald?
Well, public transportation, if we're talking about that, is inadequate. If you're not taking the express train in the morning or the evening, it's once an hour. So we need to find ways to improve our transportation. I have to disagree a little bit with Haig. When Aaron Shepley was mayor, he was a member of the PACE board. And if he couldn't make things happen, then I'm wondering what's wrong with us in getting together with the PACE board. We drive because we have to drive. We don't have other choices. And those choices come at a cost, right? We can't afford 6 buses and that infrastructure, or maybe we can, I don't know. So we really do have to look at transportation in Crystal Lake.
Thank you. Jim?
Yes, I grew up visiting my grandma in the city of Chicago, and obviously we're not the city of Chicago. They have a extensive bus and train system. We are Crystal Lake. We do have our metro system here right in downtown Crystal Lake. It's good that we have that. It allows people that. There are always ways to better that. I'm not sure how much Crystal Lake has to say about that and schedules. We have a PACE system. Again, we do like to drive in Crystal Lake, so that is the main purpose of us getting from here to there. I like the idea of improving bike trails, and with Uber and our different Lyft systems, it allows us to be able to get from here to there, especially after going in downtown Crystal Lake, if we want to be safe. So thank you.
Thank you. The 12th question, Donald, I'll start with you. If you received $1 million grant to use any way that you wanted, what would you do with it and why?
Well, anytime you're given money, your goal is to use it for growth or to solve a problem. So one of the things that I think we should look for is to possibly use that to establish a tech hub to give new companies or a chance to start, a chance to grow, because those little seeds grow into corn, and that corn could grow to the next General Kinematics or one of the other businesses in Crystal Lake that employ a significant number of our residents. So I would make the money for job growth and job creation.
Thank you. Jim?
Well, if we got $1 million grant, I would be very excited to be able to talk to all the city manager and the department heads to see where it's most needed. I believe that it would take a collective group of us to decide what the best place is to spend that work. I'm all for small, big, medium-sized business in Crystal Lake. I do believe that that's the most important thing to start there, to make sure that we not only survive in the near future, but also thrive into the far future. And that grant would definitely help us get out of this COVID-19 downturn. So I believe business is most important to Crystal Lake. So thank you.
Thank you. Haig?
Well, I would earmark that money, just if I were king, not mayor. I would earmark it for infrastructure. to Jim's point, it would be important to talk to the department heads and, you know, prioritize what are the greatest needs. As far as Tech Hub goes, you know, MCC has just announced a whole technical wing that the Foglia family has donated $16 million to. Oh, I'm sorry. State is offering 16 million. Foglias are bringing in 6 million. It is fantastic, and it will be a boom for the entire county and especially for Crystal Lake. So, you know, infrastructure is, I think, is where I would try to park that money initially.
Okay. Gentlemen, I believe at this point we will begin our closing statements. So if we could please, I would like to begin with Jim. If you would, you have 1 minute for your closing statement, if you would.
Well, first off, thank you for this opportunity. Richard, Kate, Amy, Anna, thank you for leading us in this. Donald and Haig, thank you very much for participating in this. I believe the theme is to listen, learn, and then act when it can be approved upon and learn from other towns. Don't reinvent the wheel. Just look and see what's working for others, incorporate them into our city. Also, many times employees have good ideas, listen to them, see if there's anything we can do to implement their ideas. They are in it day to day, learn from them, aside and from the residents, give them an opportunity to participate. Lastly, if there's anything that we are doing just because that is how it's always been done, stop it and improve it. Not only survive, but thrive for the Crystal Lake to once again be a place that we can all be proud to call home. Thank you all.
Thank you. Haig?
Well, first, I want to thank the League of Women Voters for this opportunity for the voters to see and hear the candidates for Crystal Lake Mayor. Thank you, Donald. Thank you, Jim, for joining. And, you know, I really appreciate your efforts to run for mayor. I honestly do. And as we've heard and seen, there are discrepancies and differences between our thoughts. My position is dealt in facts, not conjecture, innuendo, or supposition. And I really want to stress that point. You know, one is allowed their opinions, but one is not allowed their own facts. Crystal Lake is a great city. It's strong and vibrant. And under my leadership, I plan to continue the role as a leading community in McHenry County. We are a transparent government that has no ego or hidden agendas. My agenda, as well as city council and staff, is to do what's best for 40,000 citizens, not just a few.
Thank you. Donald?
I also want to thank the League of Women Voters for hosting us today. I want to thank Jim and Haig for taking the time out of their busy days for us to chat together. I believe I'm the best candidate running for mayor because I've been a member and a leader of teams tasked with solving difficult and complex problems for over 3 decades. Trained as an electrical engineer, I bring these skills with me. I understand that being elected carries with it responsibilities. That's why I pay attention to the details. That's how I found Crystal Lake did not coordinate with the county or the school districts when it enacted the municipal utility tax and improperly received $80,000 it wasn't entitled to from districts 47 to 155. That money is being refunded. I dig to find and anticipate the problems before they happen. I trust but verify to ensure the information is correct and complete so the job is done right. I understand every dollar Crystal Lake takes in ultimately comes from its residents, and I will work to be a good steward of your money. I understand senior citizens face challenges, and I will be an advocate for them. Thank you to everyone who participates in our representative democracy by voting. I hope I've earned your vote.
Thank you, gentlemen. I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to moderate this forum. My sincere thanks for your time and participation this afternoon. I would like to remind our audience, if you are not a registered voter, you can find registration and election information on the McHenry County and Illinois League of Women Voters sites. Early voting begins March 22nd. Please participate in our democracy by casting your vote. Your vote is your voice. And finally, we would like to encourage all of our candidates to reclaim and recycle your signs. At this point, I'd like to turn the forum back over to President Kate Williams.
Thank you, Anna, and thank you, candidates. We appreciate your participation, and this will be posted within the next day or two. And have a good afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.